You are kind of cute for a lizard. I am not a lizard. I am a Tuatara. A what ara? A Tuatara. I am one of those reptiles that live only on a group of islands off the coast of New Zealand. You could have fooled me. You look like a lizard. And why don't you live anywhere else? I thought lizards lived all over the place. But I am a Tuatara, not a lizard. And these islands are the only places in the world where I am safe. Why is that? Because so far these islands don't have any rats living on them. I am scared to death of rats. So are my brothers and sisters. I am too, but I can live with them, can't you? No, rats eat small reptiles like me. They also eat reptile eggs. In fact, they ate so many Tuatara babies and eggs that Tuataras almost became extinct. If New Zealand hadn't split off from the mainland long before rats evolved here, we had all be gone. As it is, we are endangered. There are only a few thousand of us. We used to live in New Zealand, but now we only live on islands off the coast of New Zealand. So why did you move? Because in the early 19th century, Europeans came to New Zealand. They brought rats in their ships, which killed us off. But what about your parents? Wouldn't they protect you from rats? Are you kidding? I am not a lizard, but I am a reptile, in case you forgot. What difference should that make? Well, reptile mothers don't generally stick around after they lay their eggs. We get deposited in a nest, often a shallow hole dug in the ground or between some rocks, and are left to fend for ourselves until we hatch. I'm only a week old, you know. So how did you survive? Luckily, I get all the food I need right from inside my egg. The nutrition goes from the yolk sac straight to my stomach, through the umbilical stalk. The egg has a leathery outer shell, which keeps all the fluids from drying up. Good thing too, because, like all reptiles, I take a long time to hatch. How long? More than a year, 15 months to be exact. That's the longest incubation period for any reptile. After all that time, how do you get out of the egg? See the spike on the end of my nose? That's a special feature I have that's designed to help me break through the egg. Now that I am out, I won't need it anymore. In a week or two, it'll fall off. You still haven't told me how you survive without your mother looking after you. Unlike mammals, reptiles don't need a mother's milk. I can survive on the average adult Tuatara diet: spiders, beetles, crickets. Gross. How can you stand it? Simple. It's a matter of survival. Most reptiles eat animals of one kind or another. We are born fully developed, looking just like our parents, only smaller and ready to hunt for a living. Why, if I were a baby snake, I'd be fully equipped with deadly venom from the get-go, but I do get some help with my hunting. Who helps you? The birds. Tuataras have a special relationship to the birds. Seabirds such as terns, petrels, and cormorants leave their droppings on the soil and rocks, which attract insects. We come out at night to feast, and sometimes we actually share burrows with petrels. We sleep in the burrow during the day when the birds are out diving for fish, and then we go out when they come back. In the winters, the birds migrate and we use the burrows for hibernation. I didn't know reptiles could hibernate. How do you do that? We have what's called a low metabolic rate, meaning that we can survive without using much energy. This allows us to live in areas that most reptiles would find a bit too cold. At temperatures of 6 degrees Celsius, our pulse can go as slow as 10 heartbeats per minute, and we take only 1 breath per hour. This means we don't need a lot of food for energy when it's cold out. Occasionally, when the sun is out during the day, we like to bask on the rocks and let the sun's heat warm us up on the inside. We feel safe on these islands. But what about your enemies, the rats? Fortunately, people now understand that we are endangered, and they have passed laws to protect us. People aren't allowed to land on these islands, and that means rats aren't likely to land here either. Anyway, most of the islands are surrounded by sheer cliffs that drop sharply into the sea. Not a good place to land a ship, so we are protected by our habitat but also by conservationists. How many of you are left? Only about 10,000, and we are not a fast-growing population either. How come? Because it takes so long to reproduce. I won't be old enough to mate for another 20 years. Once they have been fertilized by the males, females can carry eggs around for as long as a year before laying them. Well, I guess you had better be careful, so you'll live long enough to have babies of your own. Happy hunting!